Hello Year 9s. This is a introductory video or beginner's guide to embedding quotes. This is to help you with your assessment 3 of your compare and contrast analysis of Old Major and Nelson Mandela's speech. To start with though, I want to look at why we quote. Academic writing often calls for quoted material and requires the writer, which is you, to reference the idea of others and provide support through the use of quotations. An academic essay should include your own ideas and discussion of the topic, and then you support it with the use of quotes. When quotes are used to support an essay, you need to create a smooth connection from your idea to the quoted material. The ideas should flow together and be logical. One way to do this is to embed the quote, which places your quote into the context of your writing, or in simpler terms, you make the quote part of the sentence. A good analogy to use to help you with focusing on embedding your quote is the hamburger quote method. So there's a top bun, meaty middle, and bottom bun. Okay, we'll look at the individual sections. So the top bun, this is the lead-in and where you introduce the quote. So the first step to successfully embedding a quote is to give context to the quote. You give context by providing background information and by explaining who says the quote and why they said it. The second part, I'll go back to the first part for a section, is later when we go through a passage analysis, I colour code the lead-in with blue, whereas the meaty middle parts, I colour code them with red. The meaty middle is where we actually use the quote. This is the quote itself. You quote the section of text that helps you prove your point. This is the meat of your paragraph, and use a transition phrase, i.e., for example, to introduce your quote. And the last one, which the analysis, that's colour-coded in green in the passage analysis. This is the bottom bun. For a quote to be effective, you need to explain to your audience why the importance of this quote. Conclude your paragraph by explaining the significance of the text you've just quoted, and through your analysis, explain how this quote proves your point. Okay, so to start with, as a starting point, you want to analyse a passage of text. This is so you can work out why it's important, okay, and then it helps you identify the main ideas being explored. Here's a passage from the novella Animal Farm. This passage is too long to use as a direct quote in your essay, so we'll look at how to embed a short section of this passage into our essay. As I read through the passage of text, I'm going to make some notes underneath to record the important ideas as we identify them. So the passage is from Animal Farm. Suddenly, early in the spring, an alarming thing was discovered. Snowball was secretly frequenting the farm by night. The animals were so disturbed that they could hardly sleep in their stalls. Every night, it was said, he came creeping under the cover of darkness and performed all kinds of mischief. He stole the corn. He upset the milk pails. He broke the eggs. He trampled the seed beds. He gnawed the bark off the fruit trees. Whenever anything went wrong, it became usual to attribute it to Snowball. If a window was broken or a drain was blocked up, someone was certain to say that Snowball had come in the middle of the night and done it. And when the key of the store shed was lost, the whole farm was convinced that Snowball had thrown it down the well. The important idea number 1 from that passage of text is that Snowball is used as a scapegoat. This passage is all to do with Snowball and how the animals start to blame Snowball for their problems. Anything and everything that goes wrong on the farm, the animals blame Snowball. This is one of the key ideas. Snowball is used as a scapegoat. First, it's the pigs who start to use him as a scapegoat, but soon all the other animals start using him as a scapegoat too. In analysing this section of text, we have to ask ourselves, why are they using him as a scapegoat? What is the point of using Snowball as a scapegoat? Okay, key idea number 2 is fear of Snowball helps Napoleon gain and maintain the other animals' trust in him. It partly comes down to fear, because fear is one of the biggest things the pigs use to manipulate and motivate the other farm animals. It's due to their fear the other farm animals trust and listen to Napoleon and the other pigs, as Napoleon constantly reassures and promises the farm animals that he will do the right thing. Key idea number 3 is this helps the pigs distract the other animals from the things that are actually going wrong on the farm. Furthermore, by using Snowball as a scapegoat for the things going wrong on the farm, the animals are focusing on how bad Snowball is and thus distracted from all the other problems on the farm, such as running out of food. The pigs are getting more and more power, whereas the animals are getting less and less power. Napoleon has taken a lot of power for himself, even though it's supposed to be an equal society. So the distraction of all the perceived problems caused by Snowball allows Napoleon and the pigs to continue to build up their level of power in the farm. So to summarise those 3 main important ideas, Snowball is used as a scapegoat. Fear of Snowball helps Napoleon gain and maintain the other animals' trust in him. And this helps the pigs distract the other animals from the things that are actually going wrong on the farm. So from there, there are key ideas. We now need to find a quote from this passage that really sums up these key ideas. We want something short, 1 sentence, or even sometimes half a sentence to show that Snowball's being used as a scapegoat. For me, I think it's this sentence here. Whenever anything went wrong, it became usual to attribute it to Snowball. Attribute means to regard something as being caused by. All the animals blamed anything that went wrong on Snowball. This here is a good quote, so I'm just going to paste it underneath my key ideas. I like to use this format for my key ideas and quote because it helps start to draft a paragraph following teal structure. So we'll move on to that. So we'll start to incorporate these key ideas and the quote using teal. Teal, topic, sentence, example, evidence, and link. Okay. So putting those key points together in teal, we come up with a draft foundation paragraph. The pigs begin to use Snowball as a scapegoat. Whenever something went wrong, it became usual to attribute it to Snowball. The pigs used the fear of Snowball to distract the animals from the things that were really going wrong on the farm. So the above paragraph has a lead-in introduction, which is blue, the quote in red, and an analysis in green. It also has a topic, sentence, an example, and evidence. We'll look at how to link it all together later in the presentation. So we have our draft paragraph, but the problem is the quote is not connected to the sentence before or after. And that's evident in the fact there's a full stop at the end of the word scapegoat and the word Snowball. Quotes should need to connect with other sentences, so a quote should always connect either with the sentence before or the sentence after. Using the draft paragraph, I'm now going to show you how to fix this problem, and there'll be 5 steps to do it. So step 1 is joining the quote. And what I've done is I've given the initial paragraph at the top, color-coded, but I've put the recommendation fix in black italic text, then applied that fix to the amended paragraph in the box at the bottom. So to the step 1, to join the quote, I suggest rather than a full stop, change it to a comma, which means the sentence is still going. So now the amended paragraph reads, the pigs begin to use Snowball as a scapegoat, comma. Whenever something went wrong, it became usual to attribute it to Snowball. The pigs used fear of Snowball to distract the animals from the things that were really going wrong on the farm. Step number 2 is after the comma, then add, for example, to introduce your quote. So with that, the amended paragraph now reads, the pigs begin to use Snowball as a scapegoat. For example, whenever something went wrong, it became usual to attribute it to Snowball. The pigs used the fear of Snowball to distract the animals from the things that were really going wrong on the farm. Step number 3 is we've just got to fix a grammatical error of changing the capital W for a lowercase w on the word whenever. So the amended paragraph now reads, the pigs begin to use Snowball as a scapegoat. For example, whenever something went wrong, it became usual to attribute it to Snowball. The pigs used the fear of Snowball to distract the animals from the things that were really going wrong on the farm. Pro tip, hey, wee! Pro tip number 1. A way to check that your quotation has been embedded well is to remove the quotation marks and read the sentence. If the sentence still flows nicely, then you've embedded your quote well. So let's go back and check if when we read the amended paragraph without the quotation marks, does it still flow? The pigs begin to use Snowball as a scapegoat. For example, whenever something went wrong, it became usual to attribute it to Snowball. Yes, the sentence still flows. Well done us. We have successfully embedded our quote. All right, on to step 4, second last step. For now, we got to look at the way to actually link the quote. So to do that, we're just going to simply add the 2 words, this shows. So by adding the word this shows, it will link the quote. Okay, the amended paragraph. The pigs begin to use Snowball as a scapegoat. For example, whenever something went wrong, it became usual to attribute it to Snowball. This shows the pigs used the fear of Snowball to distract the animals from the things that were really going wrong on the farm. Step 5, just fixing the grammatical error where we've got to change the capital T for a lowercase t. Our fully amended paragraph with all the changes now reads, the pigs begin to use Snowball as a scapegoat. For example, whenever something went wrong, it became usual to attribute it to Snowball. This shows the pigs used the fear of Snowball to distract the animals from the things that were really going wrong on the farm. So we have an introductory in the top bun, we have a meaty middle, and we have the bottom bun, the analysis. The paragraph also follows the till structure of a topic, sentence, example, evidence, and link. So I've colour-coded the topic sentence in pink, the example in yellow, the evidence in pinky purple, and the linky part of it in green. So we have successfully embedded a quote that has an introduction, the quote, and an analysis, and follows the till structure. Woohoo! And second pro tip for the day. Woohoo! Some other ways to introduce and analyze your quotes. To introduce your quotes, you can use things like, for instance, such as claims, observes, declares, informs, argues, claims again for a bonus, alleges, points out. And to help introduce the analysis of your quotes, you can use things such as shows, describes, explains, illustrates, agrees, stresses, demonstrates, highlights, creates, emphasizes, and reveals. Alrighty, guys, I hope that helped explain some ways to embed a quote into your essay. Should you still have some questions or want to clarify something, please come and see me or send me an email or a direct message because I'd love to chat about it with you. Thanks for listening. Bye.